Today on the MarkZDrumcast, we're going to talk about the one. What is the one? Who is the one? Why is the one important? All these questions will be answered. I'm trying to be dramatic. All of these questions will be answered. All right, wonderful. So you guys on Twitch, let me know if the stream is unstable. It's telling me the stream is unstable, which is very strange, but that's okay. On today's episode, we'll start again. We will be talking about the one. Where is the one? Who is the one? Why is the one? And why is the one important? It's super important. Let me tell you something about the one. And I'm not talking about Neo, who is pretty important. But the one is like a guidepost, like a signpost. Because if we know where the one is, we know where the two is, we know where the three is, and we know where the four is. In a basic rock beat, I'll take a couple of steps back. If you're new to drumming, if you're not sure what I'm talking about, let me explain. In drumming, what we do is in a 4/4 beat, we have 4 beats to work with. And in a regular rock beat that you might find in most rock songs, you're going to play the bass drum on the 1, the snare drum on the 2, the bass drum again on the 3, and the snare drum again on the 4. And it's going to sound like this. I have to let Louis know, my co-host, that I am going to play drums, because he lays right by my bass drum pedal, and I don't want to startle him too much. But now, you might even see him somewhere. But now, if I play a little bit, he'll make a decision to leave or to stay. Okay, so a regular rock beat, and there he goes. A regular rock beat, 4/4 time, 8th note hi-hat, bass drum on 1 and 3, snare drum on 2 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Hold on a second. Okay, so the bass drum comes in on the 1 and the 3, the snare drum on the 2 and the 4. Pretty straightforward, right? So we need to know where the 1 is. We need to know where the first beat of each measure is, so that we can plan each measure accordingly. If we want to do a fill, then we need to know where we are in that measure. And of course, where we are in the song. But more importantly, where we are in that measure. Are we on the 1 beat, the 2 beat, the 3 beat, or the 4 beat? So we can eliminate the 2 and the 4, because if we're playing the bass drum, we're either on the 1 beat or the 3 beat. Again, this is a very basic example. So if we're on the 3 beat or the 1 beat, we need to know which is which. If we know where the 1 is, again, it's the beginning of a measure. It may be the beginning of a phrase, a beginning of a guitar riff. But after a while, when you listen to music enough, you're going to start to just recognize the 1. It's kind of like you're listening to a song and you're getting ready to play, right? You got your sticks ready, your feet are on your pedals, you're ready to start playing with the song. Think about, where is that urge to start the beat? Where is that urge to start playing? And if you're familiar with music, you're familiar with counting, you're familiar with listening to songs and listening to the music, most of the time you're going to want to start playing your beat on the 1, because it's just going to feel like the right place to start. It's similar to when I talk to my students about knowing where the beat is in a song, knowing the tempo of the song, and they might sit down at the drums and not know how to play the song on the drums. But then I say to them, have you ever heard a song that you liked and your foot starts tapping? Yes. I think pretty much everybody's had that experience. But the cool thing about that foot tapping is that you're more than likely, most of the time, tapping in time with the song. It's just a natural thing. Now, when your foot starts tapping to a song, we're not thinking about it. We're feeling the music. We're hearing the music, and the music is telling us where to tap our foot. It's almost like the music is kind of controlling our movement, and we're starting to tap our feet in time with the song. That's one of the things that I talk a lot about in my lessons to my students, is that there are times we're thinking about what we're doing on the drums, and there are other times where we're not thinking, we're feeling. And this is one of those examples. When you are tapping your foot in the car, tapping your hand on the table, whatever the case may be, this is when you're feeling that music. So I try to encourage my students to let go and feel that. So when we're trying to search for the one, I do a little exercise where I'm just like, play your bass drum on the one. And don't play anything else. Don't worry about playing anything else. Play your bass drum on the one, and let's see how we do. And I put on a song. Boom. We get bass drum on the one most of the time. So we talk a lot about not thinking, but feeling it. And when I can get a student to that point, it's pretty special, because that's a significant step in the development of my students, a significant step in starting to get that piece that we're feeling the music instead of thinking about it. So other examples, I'm just searching for, let's say, a drumless track or something. Other examples would be, here we go, drumless, right? Other examples of thinking rather than feeling the music is when you're reading a piece of sheet music and you're thinking about what notes you're reading and what you're supposed to do in response to reading those notes. That's a thinking exercise. I give you a sheet of paper. Hey, play these rock beats over and over again, like a practiced kind of tool. That's when we're thinking. But when we put on the music, I like to let my students experience that feeling of the music kind of making them do whatever. And sometimes if they don't know how to do a beat yet or anything like that, sometimes they're just following the vocal rhythm, right? The vocal line, and they're following that, but they're recognizing the rhythms that they're hearing, and they're duplicating them on the drum set. So whatever it is, I like to do that as a creative type of exercise with my students, where I put on music for them, and just let's see what happens. Let's just see what happens. I'm not telling you that you got to play this or that. Let's just see what happens. It's usually pretty fun. All right, so let's listen to a track. Louis, I'm going to play again. Louis' like, what's going on? I just got comfortable again. Let me listen to this.
Ready to be an e-commerce pioneer? Bluehost has step-by-step WordPress onboarding.
No, we don't want to listen to that. All right, this is that 6/8 song that I played to a couple of times before. So we're not going to use this, because I'm not talking about 6/8 music. I'm talking about 4/4. Drumless 4/4. All right. Yeah, so it's actually been a beautiful couple of days here in the Northeast. I had a rehearsal with a project that I'm working with. We're going in to record, we're in the middle of recording an album. And so I had everybody to my studio. We were going over the songs, basically putting the finishing touches on the songs that are already written, but adding drums to them. And it was really, really fun, really, really cool. We made a day of it. Had a meal together, lots of good conversation. We sat outside on the deck. We had all the doggies here. I know I talked about this before, but it was really, really fun. All right, let's try something like this. All right, this is fine to describe what I'm talking about. So if I was to put a 4/4 drum beat to this, one, two, three, four, 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, yeah. One, two, three. All right, I'm going to pause this for a minute. I'm going to pause this for a minute because I want to talk about what the significance of this is, right? So you heard, at first I played the 1 and the 3, just instinctually. But then I went to the 1, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. The first beat of every measure of the song, I was hitting my bass drum. And then you saw how it sounded when I put the whole beat together behind it, when I filled in the other 3 beats in the measure. So the importance is this: when we play and we know where the 1 is, like I said before, we know where the 2, the 3, and the 4 are. So when we decide what kind of fill we want to play and how long that fill is, we know where to start it, we know where to end it. Most of the time, we want to end the fill on the next 1. So whatever measure we're playing the fill in, we want to start it wherever we want to start it, and we want to end it on the next 1 with a crash, right? On the crash cymbal in the bass drum as the first beat of the next measure, and then go back into the beat like normal. So once we know where the 1 is, if I wanted to do a 3-beat fill, I know I would have to start on the 2, play through the 3 and through the 4, come back to the beat on the 1 of the next measure. That's why it's super important, because if we don't know where the 1 is, then we don't know where we are in the song. We might start a fill on the 3 thinking it's the 1 and play it for 4 beats. It will still work out that way, but what if we started a fill in the wrong place and came back on the 2 or the 4 with the bass drum hi-hat? That would not be great. We want to come back, if we're coming back on the 2 and 4, which is perfectly fine, but if we need to know that we're coming back on the 2 and the 4 so we can come back with a snare drum hi-hat. Okay, let's get more into this track a little bit. One, two, more. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and 4. 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and a 40. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, and a 40, and a 1, 2, 3, and a 40, and a 1, 2, 4. 1, 2, and a 3, and a 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, and a 2, and a 3, and a 4, and a 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So I did a few examples of a 3-beat fill starting on the 2, a 2-beat fill starting on the 3, and then coming back to the beat on the 1 of the next measure. But I also did something that I was working with a student with yesterday. We were working on extending fills past the 1 of the next measure. We can do that. So I did a couple of examples where I started on the 2 and I played a 4-beat fill. So I played beats 2, 3, 4, and the next 1 as a fill. So when I came out of that fill after the 1 beat, I hit snare drum, crash. Snare drum crash because I know I'm coming back to the beat on the 2, which is the snare drum part. So this way, even if I extend that fill into the next measure, I know where I'm at in the beat, and I can come back either on the 2 and the 4 with the crash and the snare, or if I'm coming back on the 1 or the 3, the bass drum hi-hat or the bass drum crash. So there you go. It's basically just knowing where you are in the song, and it starts with knowing where the 1 is. What was the other thing I wanted to say? Yes. Knowing where the 1 is, blah, 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 blah. Whatever, maybe it'll come back to me. I'm going to finish out this track for the rest of this drum cast. Thanks, everybody. Here we go. No mic.